how to avoid social mistakes that can make us really unlikable. Inspired by the principles of Stoic philosophy, we'll explore 5 common social blunders and how to steer clear of them. I'll be sharing some personal experiences and maybe even a controversial take or two. Let's get started. 1. Being dishonest. Let's kick things off with something that's bound to stir the pot: being dishonest. Honesty might sound like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how often people fudge the truth. Whether it's a white lie or a big deception, dishonesty can destroy trust in an instant. The Stoics emphasized integrity and authenticity. Seneca said, "Truth is the only safe ground to stand upon." I remember a time in college when I lied about finishing a group project. I thought I was protecting myself, but when the truth came out, it not only embarrassed me, but also ruined my relationships with my group members. Trust is hard to rebuild once it's broken. Honesty isn't just about avoiding lies, it's about being true to yourself and others. When we're honest, we create an environment of trust and respect. People feel safe sharing their thoughts and feelings, knowing we won't deceive them, even when the truth is difficult. Being upfront and sincere will earn you respect and trust in the long run. So, think twice before you decide to twist the truth. 2. Interrupting others. Next up is interrupting others. This one can be a real conversation killer. It's easy to get caught up in our thoughts and jump into conversations, but interrupting shows a lack of respect and consideration. The Stoics believed in listening more and speaking less. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." I used to interrupt people all the time, thinking my points were too important to wait. It wasn't until a close friend pointed it out that I realized how rude and dismissive it was. Taking a breath and letting others finish their thoughts shows that you value their input. Interrupting can often be an unconscious habit. We might feel an urge to share our thoughts immediately, especially if we're excited or passionate about the topic. But interrupting not only disrupts the flow of conversation, it also sends a message that what the other person is saying isn't as important. Practice active listening. Focus on what the other person is saying without planning your response while they're talking. This way, you'll be able to engage more genuinely and show that you value their input. 3. Constantly complaining. Let's move on to constant complaining. Sure, life can be tough, and venting occasionally is fine, but when you're always complaining, it's exhausting for everyone around you. The Stoics practiced gratitude and focusing on what we can control. Marcus Aurelius said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." I used to be a chronic complainer. I thought sharing my woes would bring sympathy, but it just pushed people away. It's not that we should never voice our frustrations, but constant negativity can create a toxic atmosphere. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. By adopting this mindset, we can shift from a state of constant dissatisfaction to one of contentment and resilience. This change in perspective makes us more enjoyable to be around and can positively influence those around us. 4. Being judgmental. Being judgmental is another major social faux pas. The Stoics taught us to understand rather than judge, as we never fully know what someone else is going through. Seneca said, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" I used to be pretty judgmental, always quick to point out others' flaws. But then I realized how hypocritical it was, considering my own imperfections. Judgment often stems from a place of insecurity or a lack of understanding. Shifting from judgment to curiosity can transform your interactions. People will feel more comfortable around you, knowing they won't be unfairly criticized. Plus, you'll likely gain a deeper understanding of those around you, enriching your relationships. 5. Neglecting to show appreciation. Neglecting to show appreciation is another common mistake. We often take kindness for granted, but expressing gratitude strengthens our social bonds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive." I've been guilty of this too. When I started my first job, I was so focused on proving myself that I forgot to thank my colleagues for their support. Simple words like "thank you" or a heartfelt compliment can go a long way. Gratitude is a powerful tool for building and maintaining relationships. When we show appreciation, we acknowledge the efforts and kindness of others. This not only boosts their morale, but also fosters a positive environment. Make it a habit to express gratitude regularly, whether it's a small compliment or a heartfelt thank you. These gestures can significantly impact your relationships and how others perceive you. 6. Dominating conversations. Another mistake is dominating conversations. It's great to share your thoughts, but not letting others speak can be seen as self-centered. The Stoics valued humility and recognized the importance of diverse perspectives. I used to think that sharing more meant contributing more, but I quickly learned that hogging the spotlight only alienates people. It's important to share the floor and show interest in others' viewpoints. Conversation is a two-way street. When we dominate the conversation, we miss out on valuable insights and connections. By encouraging others to share their thoughts, we not only show respect, but also enrich our own understanding. A good rule of thumb is to listen as much as you speak. Practice asking questions that invite others to share their experiences and opinions. This creates a more balanced and engaging conversation, making everyone feel valued and included. 7. Oversharing personal details. Lastly, let's talk about oversharing personal details. While being open can create connections, sharing too much too soon can make people uncomfortable. The Stoics believed in maintaining a certain level of emotional reserve and decorum. I used to think that being an open book would help people understand me better, but I quickly realized it often had the opposite effect. People need time to build trust and feel comfortable with deep disclosures. It's important to gauge the level of intimacy appropriate for the relationship and context. Sharing too much too soon can overwhelm others and create a sense of awkwardness.